Hello, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to today's big old video. Today we are going to be talking about all of my coloring books. But before I begin, I just want to extend a quick thank you to everyone who's been with me on this journey, whether you're here for my illustration, for my coloring books, if you follow me on social, if you've purchased art, prints, stickers, any of that. Whatever stage you are along my little journey, if you've just discovered me, if you've been with me from the start, thank you so much for interacting with me, for enjoying what I'm doing. If you guys didn't enjoy it, chances are I probably wouldn't be spending the time putting it out there, would I? No, I wouldn't. So today we are going to be talking about every single one of my books. I recently posted a post about it on my Instagram because I was digging through my closet and I came to the realization that, hello, Beast, you have created 12 books, 12 coloring books, and I've never sat down and said, you know what, pat on the back, good on you for creating 12 books. It's just one of those things, creative types, artists, some of us find it really difficult to congratulate ourselves or to feel good about what we're doing. There's just that constant nagging, right? But today I'm going to do a little bit of patting on the back, just a little bit, but really it's more of a retrospective on my books so far because you guys, 12 is a milestone. 12. That's a freaking dozen books. All right, so let's start from the very beginning. This book right here is, of course, Spooky Sweets. This is the one that started it all. This one right here, when I was working on this one, the intention was to create 2 to 3 books and to stop it there. I wanted to basically test myself and see if I could embark on a lengthy pet project and see it through to completion. And I did. As I said, I was supposed to stop at 3 books and I went on to 12. Now, the reason that I continued after the initial 3 is because there was interest. And this is where all of you lovely nasties of mine come into play. Because if you hadn't been interested in my books after those first 3, we wouldn't be here today. So Spooky Sweets is, of course, my first foray into coloring books. This is my typical cutesy, spooky style. This book, the intention was to go at it with a bit of a sketchy look, and I think that I achieved that. And that look tends to prevail throughout most of my books. It's a sketchy, wonky line kind of a look. So that's Spooky Sweets. Then came Dark Garden. This one was essentially the same style, although it was a little bit less cutesy, because if you've been with me for a while, if you follow my books, you know that every once in a while I will release a cute book, and then every once in a while I release a book that's less cute, I should say. Most of my work tends to lean towards that cutesy end of the spectrum, and then I will toss in one that's a little bit more grown up, if you will. Less cutesy, less big-headed, you know what I'm saying. And Dark Garden was the first time that I did that. And for this book, the theme, of course, it is poisonous, deadly, toxic botanicals. So I wanted the lines to be a little bit sketchier, a little bit more jagged, so I used a thinner pen when I was illustrating this. The theme for this one, by the way, is, of course, candy, sweets, spooky sweets. I didn't mention it, but I think that's pretty self-explanatory. Dark Garden was my toxic botanicals book. Then came Vintage Oasis. This is where everything was supposed to stop. This is a book that I created under the name, it's under my name. My name is on the back. But I created it for the Cat Eyes and Cacti umbrella. And what Cat Eyes and Cacti is a brand. I throw up the bunny quotes because I haven't really developed that brand as much as I would like. But I will. It's just these things take time and money, right? And time, yeah, I kind of have the time, but I don't have the money, so I'm trying to develop this brand whenever I can. But this is one of my first big offerings for Cat Eyes and Cacti, and it is, of course, a Palm Springs themed book. Regional architecture, mid-century modern sort of situation. That's what this book is all about. Desert Muse comes next. As you can tell, I was in a desert state of mind. I had recently moved out here to the desert. I live in Palm Springs, if you didn't know. And I was very much falling in love with the desert at this time. And this is the book that I thought, okay, I'm going to make one more. I'm going to make one more, and maybe I'll stop there. So this was book number 4, Desert Muse, all about, of course, the desert. And I started playing with a smaller size as well. Same size as Vintage Oasis on that one. I kept the same size for the next book, which is We Wickeds. And this one is very much in the vein of Spooky Sweets, but it's all Halloween themed. So it's cutesy, super cutesy boopsy, but it's themed around Halloween. We've got the Grim Reapers, we've got the jack-o'-lanterns, the trick-or-treaters, all of that Halloween type of goodness. Same format. I was really liking this size. As you'll see, I tend to change my sizes every once in a while. Just whatever the book wants to be, I make it that size. So that was, there's the back, We Wickeds. Next up, I am a nerd. I'm a nerd. I am a space nerd. Carl Sagan. Love him. Neil deGrasse Tyson, of course. Who doesn't love Neil? But Carl Sagan, love you. So this is my foray into sci-fi. Kind of a retro touch. This cover, my first matte finish cover, was inspired by the colors of 1950s and 60s atomic age toys, the sci-fi toys, the cars, all of that. And it is, of course, a space-themed book. I love this one so much. It's so fun. This is one that just screams for crazy saturated colors. Next comes another mid-century modern Palm Springsy type title, although this one is not regional like Vintage Oasis is. This is a little bit more all-encompassing. This is Cocktail Tropical. And this is, of course, heavily drawn upon, or it draws heavily, I should say, on the mid-century modern aesthetic. We've got tiki mugs, cocktails, cats, the Gucci design elements. Look at that. Isn't that cute? I enjoy this book. This is a fun one. This is a fun one for summer or even for winter if you're stuck somewhere where it snows and you want to be somewhere like Palm Springs when it's nice and toasty all the time. This is a cute book. No figures in this one. This is the first book I've ever illustrated, besides, of course, Vintage Oasis, that has no human figures. So whereas that one was architecture, this one is all just objects and a couple of flamingos, of course. Next comes the black sheep of the family, Macaron's Sketchbook. Now, this is the actual coloring book. This is the sketchbook. I have severe tendonitis in my right wrist, and I shouldn't laugh because it's so horrible, but I laugh because the reason that it flares up is because of my own workaholic nonsense. So here I am praising my being able to undertake projects, but then at the same time, I overwork myself, and then I bust my wrist. And that was the case here. So I was dealing with quite a bad bout of tendonitis, but I'm such the hamster that I can't sit down and do nothing. I am wholly incapable of just sitting down and vegging out in front of the TV and just doing nothing. I can't do that. I constantly need to be creating something. So I picked up a package of 5x7 paper, and I said, okay, we are going to work on just sketches every single day while my wrist is broken. At least it felt broken. It wasn't, but you know what I mean. I sketched out just completely free-flowing, messy, just quick sketches every day until I did all 50 of them. So I was giving my wrist a break, but not giving my mind a break. And when I was done with this little collection, I was so in love with all of them. I just thought they looked so cool together. that I decided to compile my first sketchbook. I suppose you can call it an art book, but I still consider it more of a sketchbook. It is, of course, every single one of the pages full color. This is what they looked like in person on this paper. I took all of those 50 sketches, I put them up for sale in my Etsy shop, and I created a coloring book. So all of these sketches I turned into a book, and I wanted this book to be for other people what it was for me. Simply an escape, somewhere where I could be messy and not have to worry about anything. If I went outside the lines, it's fine. I encourage you guys always to go outside the lines in my books anyway. I printed on the back of some of my titles. Case in point, don't be afraid to color outside the lines. I said that on several books. Don't be afraid to color outside the lines. See? So it's just something that I stand behind. And because of the very sketchy nature of this book, it allows you to do that. It allows you to get experimental, to play with techniques and supplies and just go nuts. And when you're done, it looks really cool. Kind of grungy, sketchy. I love it. Small size, but it's a fatty. You can just toss this one in your bag and take it with you. I love it. So these two hold a very special place in my heart. The sketches themselves and the coloring book. To this day, I haven't seen anything else quite like this on the market, and you all responded very well to it. It was a risk, but you guys love it. And I, in turn, feel all warm and fuzzy because of it. Next up is Fashion Circus. This is the first book that I created that was fashion-centric. I love the circus. Circus without animals, of course. Cirque du Soleil, acrobatics, all that. I love all that kind of stuff. So I wanted to create a book that was themed around that idea with a high fashion twist to it. High fashion, more avant-garde fashion, I would say. But this is all basically, if I had a circus, how would I want my performers dressed? So that was the idea behind that. And back to the super cutesy, big-headed, big-eyed little girls that you guys all know me for. Well, not little girls, I should say women, because I draw pretty much every age. Some of them are little girls, most of them are adults. So, cutesy, spooky, just adorable. This book is special because I requested that you all select the colorway for the cover. I put a few options up for voting via my Instagram. My favorite cover received absolutely no love at all, and this one won with flying colors. So we went with this one, and it was fun. It was a cool experience, and I look forward to having you guys help me out with more book covers in the future. This book is very much in keeping with that same style, with the cute, spooky theme. I mean, what else do I do? I am the cute, spooky one. That's what I do, right? Most of the time anyway. And this book is very much the same, but we went with the square format this time. And this one was truly going back to square one because this one is the follow-up, I suppose you could say, to Spooky Sweets. We had Spooky Sweets, which was candy and Halloween and all that kind of, all of those themes. And then we have Eerie Patisserie, which is basically spooky bakery is what this is. It's all desserts, and I think she's cute. I was in love with this square format when I made it. I will definitely be revisiting the square format in the future. And this one also well received. You guys love the square as well, which makes me happy. So we will be seeing that again later. And now comes my fresh new baby. This book is only a couple of months old, and this one speaks to me on so many levels. So many levels. This is my precious 70s, 80s, disco, new wave, art deco. I love this book. Everything that I love distilled into one book. We have the new wave aesthetic, the disco look. I should live 1975 through 1985 on loop. I've said it in videos in the past. I firmly believe I was supposed to be one of those disco 80s new wave heads, but unfortunately I was born much too late. But that's okay. I can look back on everything and I can create it. And that's what I did here. This is another fashion-centric book, much like Fashion Circus. And there you have it. All 12 of my current titles. All of these books, the bound versions are available via Amazon, and the printable versions are available via my Etsy shop. Before I close out this video, I want to extend a big, fat, wet, super juicy thank you to Jen of Reading with Pugs. When I first started this coloring book journey, I thought, okay, I'm doing this all for myself, kind of a selfish pursuit. And then I thought, there are people out there who enjoy my artwork. I'm going to put the book out for sale, and it's going to be basically for me and everyone in my little bubble. And then I stumbled upon Jen's channel on YouTube. I never felt that I fit in anywhere in the coloring book community. I had no desire to join the coloring book community, and I still don't. I'm Little Miss Hermit. I do my own thing in my own corner all the time. But when I saw Jen's channel, Reading with Pugs, she's a huge colorist. She loves coloring, and there was just something about her that I really loved. And I thought, you know, I hope that my books appeal to people like her. So I decided to reach out to her and see if she would be interested in checking out a copy of my book. She enjoyed it, and here we are today. So thank you so much. Another juicy thank you is going to be in order for Ms. Kate of Kate's Coloring Haven and Shalene of the Coloring Book Nook. Again, early supporters, fabulous. And those two lovely ladies created #Karlaween. And for those of you who've participated, you know what that party's all about. Every October, you lovelies everywhere color in any of my books. You use the #Karlaween and you share your pages on social media, and it's the coolest. I have my own hashtag. I mean, give me a break. What else can I say? That's the coolest. So I get to pop in every October and see everyone's lovely work for Karlaween. And those ladies also created the coloring book group for me on Facebook. Kate is the lovely admin of that group. She does an amazing, incredible job. Join the Facebook group if you are so interested. And thank Kate for everything that she does. And thank all of you. Thank every last one of you beasts for being here. I appreciate you more than you understand. I know this is the internet, this is YouTube, and we're separated between a screen. But truly, if it were not for all of you watching this, for all of you purchasing my books or leaving me a nice little comment on social or whatever it is, whatever gesture you choose to extend to me, if it weren't for all of that, this wouldn't be possible. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Take a look down below. Everything you need to know will be down below. And I hope that you are looking forward to new books. I'll see you in the next one.